Good evening and welcome back to the Model Makers Workshop. What we're doing now is we've painted a bit more of this tree trunk and I'm just putting some of this foam. I've got lots of static grass and various other bits and pieces, so I'm just putting some of this foam. It's made out of foam and paint added in it. There are various things on YouTube showing you how to make it. This is one that I've just purchased. So what I'm actually doing is I'm sticking it on with a super glue. So I'm putting the super glue in a little pile on my mixing tray. I don't worry about them, they only cost £1 a time. They do last for ages actually, but I'll put a bit of glue on. So what I'm doing is kind of just breaking up the area. So if you can see that, I'm just breaking up the area with the ground. Obviously this will have grass and various things all over it. I'm just putting little bits. I've added some extra colour. I haven't finished with the colour yet. What I'm doing is I just keep mixing different colours up and adding into it just to give it a little bit of kind of life. And then I just stick little bits on in different places like so to just give it some kind of detail, with like moss growing over the wood, as an old kind of tree trunk would really. So that's it. It's very difficult to know when to stop with some of this. You can get carried away and you can put too much, so I don't really want to put too much, but yeah, just add bits here and there just to make it look. And there we are. The other thing I was going to try and do is, where I've done these, I was going to cut some fine wire and glue in with little bits coming up. So I might just try that now. I'll just get the wire. The reason for that is because I've got this scenic wire that I use for various different things. So what we need to do is just break a little bit off, like so. That's it. And then I'm going to try, I don't know how successful it will be, to actually poke a piece in through there. So this does set up, there we go, it does go in, and kind of push it in a bit further. It's not going to go, it's a bit too long really, that. So right, here we go. Just bend that off and break that off. Oh yeah, here we are. Wire cutters will come in very handy for this job. So just snip a bit off there, push that in again. And the idea of these bits here is to just show they will be painted and look like twigs. Well, that's the plan of it anyway, growing out the end of these kind of stumps, because if you've seen trees where they cut them off, they do start growing. So that's what these will form. So I've got that there like that, and then I think what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of super glue down in there like so. So that will form them. They will be painted when they've gone off a bit more. Just to show you what it's looking like now. I haven't finished any more of the man at the moment because I've been just trying, so he will be on the diorama somewhere. I'm probably going to make a little bit of a fence just to go around the back, and this will have some long grass, short grass, may have some gravelly type effects, so that will be him on there. So anyway, that I just thought I'd make this little update just to show you what's happening next. So while that's happening, I'll just cut another couple of small bits to grow out of the other bit. I'll make about 3 next time. to come out of the other bit, so I'm just cutting the wire off. This is just the wire. I use this sometimes to make couplings as well for some of the 16mm stuff. It's quite easy because you can just bend it. It will kind of work harden a bit if you move it backwards and forwards, and you can make a link. And because sometimes, especially between a coupling between a loco and a wagon, so I'm just going to grow these up a little bit like that, and then later on I will put some greenery growing, which is the tree beginning to grow again, because if you've ever cut it back and left it, you will find that a lot of times it will start growing. So there we are. This is just different things you can do to your tree trunk. Push them all in there like so. See if we can get a bit of glue gathered up there, and just plod that round there like so to set. It's super glue. So there we are. And then when that's dried, I'll paint them brown. And as that happens, let's have a look now. We'll take the man off now. I think they're more or less setting there. So I can just get a brush here, a little bit of brown paint on there. So I'll put a lighter brown on that, I think, because it's they're newer shoots, so they're going to be perhaps a lighter colour. I don't think art is my serious thing, but I'll just give that a little touch in there like so. Just take the shiny silver off like that, and it just blend in a bit like that. Just take that shine off. That's it. A little bit more here, and just paint these bits there. Got the glue on there. That's it. You can just put a little bit in. It doesn't matter what you do really. So anyway, I'll just let that set now. And then, like I say, I have grass, various other bits and pieces. I use a spray. Let's just wash that off. Now, that's it. Just make sure that's clean. It's coming clean. In there. Yeah, there's no glue on that at all. That's perfectly okay. Right, I'll just put a little bit of glue on, I think. And it's a spray adhesive that I use for doing this. So what you can do is put a little bit of a spray like so. Got quite a strong smell, and then in here, in this bag here, I had couldn't find the top because I've got the bag upside down. Here we go. So all I'm going to do on this is just kind of sprinkle a little bit of this like that, just round the bottom, so it just starts to now cover up a little bit of the actual root bit bulges that are sticking up. Probably a little bit overemphasized, but by the time I put things on, so that's it. And that spray will is an adhesive. It's the Pico Scenic layering spray. And what you do is between each layer of grass or whatever you're putting on, you give it another coat, and then you can just put this over. So even though that's there, I can still grass into that a little bit and have patches and various other little bits. So that's how we kind of build up this scenic bit. That's it. I'm just putting a little bit round, yeah, like so, and then what I do is just get a little sprinkling of this and start putting it in a little bit more, like so. You can push it in with your fingers or whatever you want, just to get it into those areas you want. And then later on, what I normally do is get a piece of paper, tip it out onto the paper, and then I can put it back into the bag and use it again, because not all of it is going to adhere. Now the reason I painted it green underneath, that's just an acrylic green, is because you always need an underneath, in a sense, a background to it. So if you do that, then when you put your man on, obviously he's got to be painted, it starts to get even more realistic. Bit by bit, you're beginning to add to the realism of it, and then you've made yourself a little diorama very cheaply. I mean, I've got all this stuff because I've used it for railway things, so you'll find that once you get a bit of a stock of stuff, you can carry on and make all sorts of other little bits and pieces. So yeah, so that's it. It'll be better when the grass starts growing. So I was going to say we need some rain, but I don't think I think we've all had enough rain. But there he is, moving around, having a go. So when these little twig things have dried, then I can stick little tiny green bits on the end of that, and it'll just look like little teeny branches beginning to form out of those parts of the trunk. So there we are. So yeah, this is just a little update on the Detectorist diorama. So we're now adding lots and lots of detail. I had a look, because obviously painting a tree trunk is not as easy as you think, because you think they're brown, but they've got greys in them and all sorts of other colours. So what I did, I had a look on Google Images, just typed in tree trunk or tree stump, and it came up with hundreds of images and things. So I thought, oh, that's what I'll use to get what I want. So there we are. That's what we've got so far. You can see the ridges that I put in with the card that time when I glued it to the round, when I used the tube and I glued the card to it. It gives you those ridges, and those ridges are what you would get on the bark on a lot of trees, or this particular tree anyway. So that's where we are on that. So I hope you're following this, and I hope you like it. If you do, give us a like, and if you click the bell every time there's a little update coming on, then you'll see it. So yeah, there we are. So that's where we are on that. And the next, what we'll do, we'll let this dry now, and I'll add a few little bit more, and then I'll start putting some static grass in. And then I've got to decide on how to make the fence, whether to make that out of card, paint it and put wire through. You can use things like this wire to go through as like a wired fence. I've got some smaller gauge fencing with the holes in. It's too small for this, but I'll make it a little bit larger so it goes around. Just a short bit of it really. It's just to show, just because it's a diorama. But anyway, that's where we are, and I'll see you in the next video. So thank you for now. Bye now.